welcome back to the Dog Show Drive with Wayne and Will. I am Wayne Cavanaugh.
You are, and I'm Will Alexander.
Yes,
I
you
love
are,
your
young
patty
man.
hat too.
Well, thank you very much. I'm getting ready for Newfoundland.
Newfoundland.
Newfoundland. Yeah.
Newfoundland.
We'll talk about that. Montgomery, Best in Show Judging, stories from the past, all that's good about the dog show world, and terriers right here on the Dog Show Drive. Well, hello, young William. How the heck are you, buddy?
I'm good, Wayne. It's good to see you. Missed you.
We're not good, Will. We're both lying. We're under the weather a bit, folks.
A little bit.
On the mend, we'll be just fine. But yeah, it's been a rough couple of weeks. Whatever he does, I do. Whatever I do, he does. So when we get unwell, we tend to do it together, all the way across the border. I don't know how, but anyway, buddy, it's good to see you, and I'll see you in a couple of days too.
Yeah.
We've had a banner month of seeing each other in person and electronically.
Yeah.
It doesn't always happen like that, Will. So we're both heading, ladies and gentlemen, to Newfoundland?
Newfoundland.
Newfoundland?
Newfoundland.
Oh man, I'm never going to get this right. But I was thinking about this, Will.
Yeah.
How important is this province, used to be a country, for this province to be named after a dog?
I'm not so sure that's how it worked, but
you think it might have gone the other way, Will?
I think maybe, yeah.
They named the Newfoundland after Newfoundland.
Yeah.
Okay. Still, how important is this? Because there's no breed named England.
No.
There's no breed named Ireland. But there's a breed named
Newfoundland.
That's important. That's a big reason I'm going. I want to figure this mystery out.
And they run in the wild there, over the hill. You'll see them.
Little street urchins.
Only the acceptable colors, though, in Canada. The rest, we send down here, down to you guys.
We get the brown ones. You don't have the brown ones, do you? What do you have up there? Just black and Landseer?
Black and Landseer, yeah.
We get the brown ones, the teddy bears.
Yeah, and you get the silver ones, the gray ones too. Yeah.
We'll take them.
I think Daryl Hayes, didn't he win the group at the Garden with was it a brown or was it a black? I can't remember now. I know a brown one won the group one year. Might have been Kitty Drury.
Boy, you got me on one, Will.
I don't know.
I have to call Bonnie.
No, Kitty Drury was the judge, I think. I can't remember now. It's all a big blurb.
Yeah.
I'm sure when we get to Newfoundland, they'll tell us. Well, we got rid of that one because it was the wrong color.
Well, the reason we're going is Will and I are both presenting at the Canadian Kennel Club / Canadian Dog Show Judges Association annual conference. And it's cool that they're working together. I just think that's really cool. And Cheryl's coming along. We're going to do a little sightseeing depending on our energy and anemia. But other than that, I'm really looking forward to meeting everyone. And I prepared more lectures than I thought I had to, but it's going to go well. Dawn Dealey's going to meet us there. She has a presentation ready. Yep. We're required to do PowerPoints, ladies and gentlemen. And I can think of no better way to put an audience to sleep than turn down the lights and put on PowerPoint slides. But that's what they wanted, and that's what we're giving them.
We got to stay up there, and we got to read the PowerPoints to them.
We do. I'm going to need you to cheer me on and maybe throw some popcorn or something, Will, just to keep me going.
I told Patrick, because Patrick's a great piano player. I told him
we
have to have some. Oh yeah, he's a great piano player, and so we have to do some musical interludes.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah. Because we had this song years ago.
Talking about.
Because Patrick, myself, Billy Milne, and Murray Clark were in charge of entertainment at the Top Dog Dinner in Canada, and we used to write these songs, and Patrick would play them, and we would sing them. Now they were songs already. We would just change the words, like there's no business like show business. And
how clever, Will. That was really clever.
There's no business like show business, like no business.
And you related that to dog shows? Is that how you did it? You took
Everything
that?
about it is appealing, everything the
Wow.
CKC allows.
Jeez, that's
It
just
went over
crazy.
big. We had all the greatest hits album come out. KTEL tried to
Uh-huh.
sell it. It was big, big
Was there
time.
drinking involved, Will, with the
Oh, yeah.
customers? Yeah, okay. Just now, Mr. It's Patrick Mudge we're talking about, who
Patrick
I've
Mudge,
not
yes.
met, but I cannot wait to meet him. He sounds like a lovely guy. He and Walter are going to show us around, and
Oh,
we're
good.
hoping to, yeah, hoping to have a good time. And I've prepared. They told me it was like Ireland weather, and sure enough, we're gonna have rainy, damp, and cold. So I'm gonna feel right at home. So
Is
breaking in
that
the
I haven't
cat,
looked ahead. Is that what we're gonna have?
yeah,
Yeah.
breaking
I
in
was
the flat
judging there
cap.
in July. We had rainy, damp, and cold then too.
I'll bet. I'll bet. I didn't realize there's a time difference.
Yep, yep.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, from America, you think that if you live on the ocean, right, like
Uh-oh,
New
here we
Jersey
go.
at the beach, that's as low as our, that's our time zone in. Oh no, nay, nay. We're going to gain an hour. It's an hour earlier, I should say, going from Toronto to Newfoundland,
Newfoundland.
Newford place. Yeah, a different time zone, Will. A whole different time zone.
So you wait till you get there. It's a whole different world, Wayne.
Yeah, so I hear.
You're
So I
gonna
hear.
like it.
I know I'm
You're
gonna
gonna
love
think
it.
of the old country, Wayne.
If it reminds me of the old country, I'll be happy, Will. That's why I'm breaking in the flat cap. Got to have a couple. Anyway, there was a little dog show held this weekend.
Yeah, one of those wee terrier shows.
Those wee terrier shows. Is there anything like we weren't there? Is there
Um,
anything like Montgomery, Will?
no,
Yeah,
and every day when I saw the results from Hatboro and Devon, I was thinking, I wish I was there. Or I see the pictures at ringside. I wish I was there. Even just standing around watching and talking, and I
yeah.
wish I was
Well, that's
there.
not what you were telling me. You text me and say, "What the hell were they thinking, that judge?" That's what you're texting me, Will.
Well, that has nothing to do with it.
No, great judging panel, great breeders, great handlers, great exhibitors. Just it's so incredible. And there's not a day in the year that any terrier will look better than on that day.
Well, it's because you know how we talked about conditioning dogs, getting them ready
Yeah.
for the garden? Well, all these terrier people condition them to get them ready for Montgomery weekend. Everything is
Yeah.
Montgomery. We're going to save this dog for Montgomery weekend. We're going to save this dog. It's
Yeah.
Montgomery weekend. And new dogs
Over a
come out.
hundred Wheatons.
Oh,
Over a
I know.
hundred Wheatons.
Yeah.
That's about 5 times as many terriers. All terriers are at most shows these days.
I know. It's
Just
incredible. Incredible. And I think Canada dominated that breed too.
did they?
Yeah, they like for every day they won the
Mm,
breed except for one.
well, pretty good. Not
Yeah.
bad. Well, it's good they have those Canadian judges judging those now. So,
Yeah,
oh
exactly.
no, I just kidding. Anyway, it was amazing to watch, and we got to watch on AKC TV. It's such a we just and then once in a while people say, "Oh, there's AKC TV is slow or it's blipping or blacking out or really you're getting to see a dog show live
Oh,
in
exactly.
color
I
on your
agree.
computer. That's
I'll
a
tell you.
miracle."
This weekend was Thanksgiving in Canada,
Yeah.
and I went up to my sister's lake house in Buckhorn Lake to have Thanksgiving with my family there. My son was there, and I was watching the group during dinner. And then my sister said, "What are you watching?" So then she took my phone and put it sideways so we could both watch it.
Yeah. It's really cool. It's really cool. They do a pretty good job with the camera work. I mean, it's as limited what they're doing, and it's just I love being able to see it live. I
Oh,
love
yeah.
to be able to see the faces on the people and the dogs on the day. Boy, the dog that hit me right in the eye, and I've never seen her, but that Kerry Blue Terrier bitch looks like a real one to me, Will.
Yeah,
I
she looks a
can't say it
cracker to
because I
me
haven't
too.
seen her.
I've seen her in life, and she's a cracker. Yeah.
Well, she sure looked pretty. And of course, who couldn't be happy for Marguerite? But, the Cilium is just, it's her lifeblood. She does such a great job with her, and everybody loves her and loves the way she presents this breed. And I'm so happy for her winning.
I think
Um,
this is her fourth or fifth Montgomery. I think she because I remember her
yeah,
winning a couple years with the Lakey bitch Flirt years
yeah,
ago.
yeah, yeah. Wow, it's fun
I
stuff.
can't remember if it was 1 or 2 years. No, it's definitely 2 years she won it with Flirt, maybe more. I can't remember.
And you got to bring the barber if you're going, Will. It's going to be rainy. It's going to be damp. We know it. Every
Yeah.
year it's going to be cold, but it's kind of part of the whole gestalt, right? You get the whole feeling of fall's coming. and we're terriers and we're tough and we've got tweed stuff. And
Yep.
we've got the jackets, right? You got to have the coats if you're a terrier man.
I bought my first pair of muck boots at Montgomery
Did you really see that? That's
years
wonderful.
ago. Still
Well, I
have
just
them though.
can't. When I can every time I think of it, and they're doing the new crew does great, great job. But of course, my early memories were of Joe Dubler and Walter Goodman. I mean, that's just that is people talk about icons and legends. There's a pair of them.
Yeah. Oh, it's a
Pair of 'em.
traditional show. Like it just goes back. It's unbelievable. Just the feel you have when you're walking onto the grounds.
Yeah, yeah. I can remember Tom Gately pulling up in his Volkswagen van. That's how old I am, Will. My God. That was the first vans they made back then before the Chevy Greenbrier.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was a big deal. Tom coming in his Volkswagen van. And I got to see so many great terrier men and women over the years. Of course, early on it was all men, but it's just so cool to think of that history and maintaining that. And no one questions it's the greatest terrier show in the world. And there's plenty who will say it's the greatest show in the world.
Yeah.
Um, Gosh, and it's not just a group show; it's an all breed show.
Yeah. Well, not Montgomery, but the
Yeah,
other the
no,
days.
Montgomery's an all breed show who has decided to only have terriers.
Oh,
So
it's an
it's
all
not,
breed club.
yeah,
Okay, I
it's
see.
not a group club, and that's why they can do best in show and group one and all that good stuff. Really fun to watch. And they did the bred by groups, which were great. And of course, some of the big winning dogs with their owners who happen to be breeders and handlers are in that group. That's how serious these terrier folks can be in a lot of
Oh,
groups
yeah.
too, but just so cool to see these people. And it's a rough life working those coats and keeping them all in shape. You've got to be what kids want to do that today, Will?
Not many, I'm sure. And there are a handful that still like to do it, but
Yeah,
you have to be passionate and committed, literally.
you do. You
So,
do.
you
You
know.
roll one Airedale coat and you want to be a whippet handler.
Well, that's I always thought it was amazing when I would speak when George Ward was still around and when I would talk to him about things. And he ran that Airedale kennel when he first moved into America. He said, "Oh yeah, there was like 100 Airedales." I couldn't imagine, you
Yeah.
know.
Can you? It's just incredible.
Yeah.
And that's how it was. And we see those, the apprentices of those people and their apprentices and their kids now interested, but it's a small and mighty army.
Well, it's amazing if you look at
Yeah.
Catherine Wright to George
Yeah.
Wright all the way to Cliffy Hallmark. It's like
Yeah.
it's a
Yeah.
pedigree, you know.
It
It's
is, isn't it?
yeah.
How cool is that stuff? I love it. I absolutely love it. And how lucky were we to hang? And of course, growing up on the East Coast, geez, that's just that was cheating. We had everybody there. Cliff Hallmark, Peter Green, and then all the guys would come out and visit and Peter, and we got to go to those shows and see all of them. Al Ayers and so many great ones, and it was so much fun to learn from those guys. And you wouldn't say much around them. You just stand and watch. They weren't going to sit and tell you much. But boy, you could just learn by being there. Great stuff, Will. Great stuff. But
You
if
get
you
to see
haven't
these
been
new
to
dogs.
Montgomery, even if you're not a terrier person, you got to go, right? You got to see it once.
Yep.
One of the things that it has that sounds almost trite, big breed entries. There's not many shows that have that.
And they're all weekend long. Devon drops off a little bit, but
Yeah,
they hold all because they change sites for Devon. Some people don't
right.
want to change sites, but yeah, they hold a pretty big entry. You know.
They sure do. And the when you get to see 100 of this and 100 of that, it's Crufts like, except
Oh,
with a probably higher batting average in each breed.
And it's so much fun to see to watch the different families from the classes all the way to best of breed dogs. It's
Yeah.
you can pick them out, and usually the judges find them, and it's fun to watch that
Mhm.
happen. Even watching, because I would just scroll through Facebook looking for someone Facebook living something so I could watch smooths or
Yes.
watch wires or watch Lakelands. And yeah, I watched, I think I watched Woody do wires at Devon, and in the background, I actually called him this morning. In the background, I said, I recognize that person. Friend of mine, John Kerr, who had wires years ago, he's there watching wires. He lives in Montreal. And I messaged him this morning. I said, are you coming back to dog shows? He said, maybe, maybe. He's pretty excited after
Ah,
watching everything. So
that is really cool. Breed competition is where it's at. We just take it for granted. No one gets to see breed competition anymore. At their national, maybe.
yeah,
At Orlando, maybe. But we just don't see it. It reminds you what dog shows are all about. All this gravy with the groups and best in shows. Show me a class dog I haven't seen before in smooths or wires or anything. A young class dog that people have held off, a Westie, any that have held off, waited to spring us in Montgomery and show the world.
oh,
That
do you
is
remember
just a
when? Do you remember
treasure.
when Amy Rutherford had that smooth, the class dog? I'm going group two at Montgomery,
Yep.
and was his name? Was his name Dodger? I remember,
I don't know.
but
Maybe.
he caught everybody's attention that year.
Mhm.
Well, look at the class dog, the one smooth. Look at then he went on to the group, and I'm sure he went group two.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And there was that year when Mick showed up, and that got
we were all
everybody.
waiting for Mick though.
Yeah, we were. We were. And it was cool to see Marippy. I just love Marippy there. She was in there with her dog, her own dogs that she bred, and she's bred so many great ones over the years. And we were just talking about this off the air, Will and I. There's a woman who could buy me a dog, any breed, buy me a
Any
dog
breed,
in a
she has an eye
minute,
for any breed. She can find them.
and condition and trim dogs like nobody. I mean, she can. Well, she has taken Oswalds that looked like nothing and ended up giving them back and looking like $1 million. Any breed. She's just absolutely an artist and a talent. And she doesn't kind of, I think, doesn't like the way things go in at dog shows with ones and twos and ones and twos and all the focus at the top and not in the breed. She doesn't go to many shows at all. She doesn't like to judge. How do you There's plenty of people in that category that aren't handling anymore for a living. They're still breeding a great dog once in a while and bring them out to the shows. Don't really want to do the judging thing and the travel. How do we I want to find a way to capture the knowledge of those people and experience of those people and somehow use it as an educational point or something to help out the sport. I want to find a way to bottle that intangible and bring it to the sport in a way that it's palpable and informed that people can learn from because she's one of them. There's plenty, but she sure
Yeah.
is one that comes to my mind. Um, she could
Well,
judge for me
and
anytime
when she does breed a dog that she wants out there, some handler approaches her and gets it from her and shows it, and it
if
rises
she
to,
likes them. Will
yeah, yeah. And if they do a good job, yeah.
if she likes them. Anyway, it's great to see her there, and so many others. So much fun. Again, we're seeing this on TV, right? You're on AKC TV. I have to say, I've done commentary for many, many years. I know how hard it is. I know all the things that go into it. I'm just asking for one thing. Can you please tell us who the dogs are? When we did Crufts, Peter Purvis would start before Frank Kane and I did our banter. Peter would say, next up, the Scottish Terrier, champion Flangwinkle Humperdinck, owned by John Derry from Coventry. That takes about 3 seconds.
If
Just let
that.
me have the dog's name. Is that against the rules or something?
I don't know. I don't know what the issue is there, because like you
Because
said,
you might get,
every once in a while we'll hear a call name or a handler's name or a breeder's name, but we never get to hear the full name. So
I want to know. And I don't think maybe the public's watching these, but I think I would guess that a good percentage of the audience are dog show people. And I'm sure they'd love to know what dog it is. I know
well,
I
especially
would.
certain breeds are not used to seeing. Yeah, of
Yeah.
course.
Especially new dogs on the horizon. I want to hear the kennel name. I wouldn't mind hearing the breeder's name, but I know that's. And the other issue with mentioning the owners and breeders is these days. It could take up the whole segment. I was just looking at it just randomly. This dog's owned by 6 people, bred by 7 people. Come on. Uh, I don't know.
They have a team now.
Yeah,
Best team in show.
it takes a village. It's a different world. I would just like to know who really is responsible. That would be nice. You know what I did at the other registry when it came to co-ownership? I may have mentioned this. Uh, People wanted, more than 2 names on. So I said, "Fine, fine, as many names as you want, but one of them only is what we called the signatory. Only one of those people. You can figure it out any way you want, but to us, only one person gets to sign papers." And that helped us a lot with divorces and arguments and breakups. One person, because you don't want to punish the dog because it's a co-owner split and no
Right.
one's going to sign over the papers. No one can use the dog. If it's the greatest dog in the world, why should some, domestic spat take that dog out of our gene pool? Tell me which one right from the day you register the dog. That's who gets to sign. And that changes the dynamic. And at least for us,
Yeah.
it was a great way to solve. We had not one lawsuit, not one problem after that, because you're constantly getting subpoenaed. And the court thinks that registration papers mean ownership. They mean nothing. They mean nothing about ownership. You're not going to go into a court because you can register a dog with 3 different registries under 3 different ownership names. You can do that all day. One registry, me and Will. The other registry, Will and his mom. The other registry, me and same dog.
Right.
So who owns it? It's not the registry's decision. That's the court's decision. So just give us one signatory and leave us alone. Anyway, enough of that. I did want to mention I had a really a great longtime listener who's always sending some great questions. She called and said, or she messaged and said she has a group now, and she wants her friends are urging her to apply to judge Best in Show.
You
I
have to
think
apply to your best in show
yes.
down there? Like at home, I think once you get 3 or 4 groups, if I get which number, you get to judge best in show, but I didn't know you had to apply down there for best in show.
Yeah. We actually have to apply for each breed down here, Will.
No, I know that, but
I'm
but
just
once you
kidding.
get all the sporting breeds, you can do the group. So, like, it
I'm just
used to be
joking.
years ago, it used to be 1 group and you could do best in show down there.
Yeah. Oh, now they change. So in Canada, you need to do several
No, in
groups first?
Canada, I wanna say it's 4 now, it used to be
Yeah.
3. But I mean, in America, it used to be 1 group and you could judge best in show.
It is the same way now,
Well, I didn't know you
but
had
you
to
have to
apply.
ask for it. You have to
Oh,
apply for it. Yeah, but it's just one group. And I had a really, she said, "What do you think? What are your thoughts?" Man, it took me a minute because my first thought is, well, and her first thought, she said, "I don't think I'm qualified. What do I know about some of these breeds in other groups?" And I thought about that. What does anybody know about 200 breeds?
not
Well,
exactly. You're not gonna know them all. I think a good dog person is gonna come up with a good dog, and you've got 7 great dogs out there, so your chances are minimal you're gonna mess up. So,
one of my answers was it's the easiest class you
oh,
could
there's
ever
no
judge.
question it's the easiest class, easiest class.
What would you rather do? A class of 7 bad English cockers, not to pick on English cockers, one of my favorite breeds, but a class of 7 C minus and D class dogs or best in show? What's easier?
Yeah.
Much easier to do best in show. So that got me thinking, okay, well, you'd have to be comfortable. You'd have to be comfortable. One of the issues is knowing how to go over 200 breeds. That's a big deal.
Yep. How to
Be-
approach 200 breeds, like, there's breeds that some people don't even know how to approach properly.
right.
So,
So no one gets to judge best in show. If we go by those criteria, no one gets. So we do it this way, where if you've got one group and you've got a pretty good eye for a dog, you can do it. If you apply and get approved. Um, I don't know. The more I thought, on one hand, it's terrible. We should all be experts in 200 breeds. The reality is, no one has ever been, not even the great Mrs. Clark. She would not tell you she was an expert in 200 breeds. No one's ever been an expert at 200 breeds. Maybe Desi, but no, but really, it's impossible to be that tuned into the finer details of breed type in 200 breeds. It's not to say you can't judge them and do a good job, because you have a good eye and you know what you're doing. You can figure it out. But so I said, well, on one hand, you'd have to be an expert in every breed. On the other hand, does it matter? Because really, I know this sounds calloused, and don't send letters. Well, send them to Will. Does it matter, Will? Why is Best in Show so important?
Well, I mean, they need a winner at the end of the day, I suppose. But like I said before, hopefully there's 7 good dogs there, and it's not gonna be that hard to judge. I remember years ago, I'm not gonna say which judge it was, but he was judging in America. He only had 1 group in Canada. He couldn't believe he got to judge Best in Show, and he ended up giving his breed Best in Show.
Yeah,
But he said he was nervous going in there.
sure. Well, if you have one group, are you more likely or more less likely to give the group winner from that group Best in Show because you're overconscious of it, or you think, gee, but maybe I should. I'm a working guy, but maybe I put up a toy dog because I don't want them to think I only like the working. I mean, what? So I guess my point is, winning Best in Shows is the ultimate. It's wonderful. It's great. It's important. It's a thrill, but it's kind of a parlor trick
Right. It's
compared to winning the breed at Montgomery,
right,
right?
right.
Uh, so in that case, my advice to her was pretty much, if you feel confident, and I assured her she has a really good eye. She knows what she's doing. She can do it. Just be prepared when you have to go over the Neo or the pug or bites and things that you haven't dealt with before, depending on what group you're coming from. Those things you just have to watch. And I can tell you what I do if I'm in those positions where I'm judging a group, like at a owner handler group in herding. I've done those, and I don't have any herding breeds, but you can do them in certain circumstances. I go through the standards real quick while I'm sitting right there at ringside, and I have no problem checking the standard in the middle of the group. None.
Well, it's
Uh,
there for a reason, so you need to
yeah.
check it.
Mhm.
It's funny, as a handler, you talked about the one group judge that would put up their own dog or stay away from their own dog. As a handler, you would notice things like, oh, well, Wayne's going for hounds next. Let's see. And he puts up the hound because it's fresh in his
Interesting.
mind because he's studying hounds. So
How about that? Well, that's
yeah,
pretty curious.
we notice
These are the
those things.
psychological things I love about dog show judging and that we don't talk about,
Well,
right?
sometimes we think way too much, but
Yeah. 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 I had a judge recently tell me that she watched somebody judge and they said she's going to be really good, but she thinks too much. And that's a real thing.
oh, because they talk themselves out of things
Hmm.
sometimes,
Yep.
and that my motto, if it walks like a duck and talks like a duck, there's a good chance it's duck.
Yeah. Well,
Talk yourself out of things. You walk in and right away you see the winner and then talk yourself out of it.
yeah. And we all do it. And I don't
Yeah,
think
there's no
anyone will
question.
ever stop
There's no
doing it.
question.
We do it. And we're the two best judges in America. And we
Well,
still
yeah, we didn't want to bring that up, but.
we voted each other that.
Next week you'll see
No.
the trophies.
Yeah. Trust us. We have a lot to learn. Everybody does, Will. Everybody does. But you do have to have a foundation. And it really, it's kind of cheating for us. We work for some of the best people. We've been around the best people. We grew up in the sport. And your folks, my folks, both in the sport, that gives you a foundation that
Oh, it's a
really,
solid foundation, right?
yeah, it's a
It
big
really
deal. It's
is.
hard to start one when you're 30.
Yeah.
It can be done. Can be
No,
done.
and it has been done.
Yeah. Yeah.
But when you start off with already a solid foundation, well, it's like anything else. It's like when you're building a house. I mean, you start off with a 6-inch foundation compared to a 2-foot foundation, which is going to last longer. It's
Yep.
just
I did an interesting assignment, very non-regular. It was an FSS competition. They have that now. And it was Fauve de Prud'homme. You know what I'm talking about?
no, no, not a thing. Not
Fauved, and then something about Bretanga
oh,
or
okay.
Bretagne. They come from France. Well,
Is that the hound?
yeah,
Yeah.
I love this breed, by the
Oh,
way.
they're beautiful.
And
Yeah.
really apologies that I can't pronounce it. I just haven't gotten that into them.
I think we saw them in Ireland too. They're beautiful.
We did.
Yeah.
We did. The thing that fascinated me was that there was a good entry of them, quite a few. And I read the standard real quick, and I look in there, and there's all different kinds. It's a new breed just forming, and you're not getting all, people are bringing them over from different areas. I had such a good time. First of all, I love the breed, love them. But I certainly am not an expert in that breed, nor was anybody that was at that show. A few of us did them. Steve Herman did them the day before I did them. We also did Russian toy Chervonkanakas or something. I don't know. They were really cute little dogs, but we didn't Bolognas or something. I'm not saying this to be dismissive. We just never seen the breeds
Right.
before and
What are
couldn't
you gonna
pronounce
do?
it. That's the whole idea of these FSS shows, and they're wonderful. But we got to talk to some breeders afterwards with different opinions. We had no problem finding winners. Just looking at general, what do you think a dog should look like? Which one's balanced? Which one you get to structure more, right? Maybe you lean that way a little more than you would, but you're going to have to find something to hang your hat on. And when you're judging those odd breeds, that's all you can bring. So when you're doing best in show and a breed walks in that you've never seen before or never touched before, you're going to have to just grade that dog on its basic make and shape and construction. And boy, there's sometimes we need to do more of that. We need
Well,
to stop. We start overthinking the veins in the ear of a pointer and point to a good dog, a good overall dog, an honest dog. Uh,
Maxine Beam was up here judging one time, and this is back before you guys had Norwegian Boohunds. We had them up here before, and a good friend of mine named Jennifer McCauley showed them back then. And Maxine gave one best puppy in show, and I think she had given my dog best in show. So I was getting pictures taken, and she said, I don't know, I've never seen one before, but that's the best one I've ever seen.
mhm. Well, if you're walking down the street and you see a mutt, there must be a more politically correct way to say mutt these days. uh, Mixed bred dog or dog of unknown origin, you still can look and go, that's a good looking dog.
Exactly. Yeah.
You still can do that. And I have to tell you, I have seen a couple of good looking doodles. They don't look like anything I've ever heard of, but once in a while you see a balanced one, even of those.
But the
You
thing
know,
is, you
it
could probably trim them to look like whatever you
well,
want.
you could. uh, Doug Johnson and Jamie Hubbard are in Africa,
Yeah, I
and
saw those
they've been
pictures. Yeah.
posting pictures, and there were some animals they posted a picture of, and I just said, my only concern is that you're going to find a breeding pair, bring them back, and win the garden in 2 generations. Because if anybody could do it, they could. It could happen. There's a lot of new breeds coming up, Will.
I think Patty's with them too, isn't she?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they look
And
like they're
Adam
having.
King.
Oh,
Adam King
okay.
too.
They look like they're
Yeah,
having a
yeah.
great time. Wow.
And they all have this new luggage. Or we're not cool, Will. Do you have
No,
the collapsible pocket squishable luggage things yet with the
no.
things? I don't either, Will.
I just
I
have
got
my
the
own
regular
luggage,
suitcase. I got the regular one, Will. We're gonna have to find out how to get these. You
Well, maybe
squish them down.
maybe whoever that makes them could sponsor the dog show drive and
I
send
think
them
they'd
to
be
us,
smart to
and
do
we'll
so.
take them everywhere we go.
I think it'd be smart for them to do so.
That's right.
Everybody, when Will and I are traveling, a lot of judges and a lot of people from hockey too, are wondering what we're carrying our socks in.
Oh,
A
yeah.
lot of them. Yeah. Some of them
I'm
has to
sure
carry our
Connor
bags.
Bedard is like, I wish I had a hat like Wayne Cavanaugh.
I don't know. I
That
just want to
happens
know
this week, tomorrow. Well,
what does.
actually, this is going to air
Oh,
Thursday.
hockey.
So yesterday, the hockey season
What happened?
starts.
There was a preseason game. I think it was some team with a leaf on their
Yeah,
sweater.
yeah.
They didn't win yesterday.
Oh, wait.
Who'd they play, Will?
The teams that would ever win the
Who did they
preseason
play, Will?
never, I don't remember, Montreal, Ottawa, I don't know.
Could have been
Was
Detroit.
Detroit? Oh, yeah, we beat them at home and they beat us at their home.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because you know what happens
Hockey
in
town.
preseason, Wayne? Because they want to sell tickets. So when they play at home, so when Detroit came to Toronto to play in Toronto, no, this is the truth. I'm telling a true
Yeah,
story here. Don't
yeah,
like
yeah.
giggle at me. It's a true story. Detroit puts on the lines that aren't probably going to make the team. Maybe one or two players that are still looking at where the home team fills it up because they want the crowd to see Austin Matthews, see Mitch Marner. So the same thing happens. So after the Leafs playing home, they go to Detroit and then they play their guys they're not quite sure on the bubble. And Detroit plays their A string and they each beat the crap out of each other.
True. Yeah, true. Detroit did kick their ass. I'm just saying. Anyway, only one of those times though, Will. That's
Yeah.
just
The
it.
other time, we had our
Yeah.
real players on, but
I got to keep the cat crooked, Will, and we're this whole reverse YouTube thing.
I know, like you're over there.
Sometimes sometimes I'm pulling on the wrong edge. See, I got
Yeah.
to do it.
Yeah.
It's like trying to cut your hair in the mirror.
Handicap never touched his hat. Just leave it alone.
Yeah, I guess I will. Anyway, well, it is hockey season. We are getting excited about it, and
Oh, I'm
I
excited.
I have to say when I think of Chicago Blackhawks and all the new prospects, my heart still breaks for Rocky. I can't stop thinking about him.
Oh, I
This is
know.
the owner of the Chicago Blackhawks, who Will and I were fortunate enough to be friends with. And they bought a beagle and of Miss P's breeding, and we flew up to on their little jet there and picked up a pup for them, Cheryl and I and Rocky and his wife. I just miss him. He was a presence, and whenever I think of his love for beagles, gosh, and and his love for the Blackhawks and what he did for that city.
Well, when they got the first pick overall, Connor Bedard, I sent him a message. I said, "How exciting is that?" And he just sent me a thumbs up, right? But
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, good stuff. I'm sorry he's gonna miss it. Jeez,
yeah,
just doesn't seem right. And we did lose some dog show people this last week.
we sure did. It was
Tough one, Will.
up
Tough
up
one.
here in Canada. We lost an icon in Davy McIntyre. He's someone that he was such a huge character in our sport, and I mean a character. He said the things that everybody else was just thinking. He was unbelievable, and everybody called him Dad. We all went down whenever we visited the Maritimes. You always had to stop and see Davy, and yeah, my heart goes out to his family. And he was a terrier man, so
Yeah.
he's probably still watched Montgomery and sat back and he was uh he was close with Cliffy and George Wright was one of his very best friends. So
Yeah.
yeah, my heart goes out. Dougie has posted a few pictures. Doug, his son, Doug McIntyre, has posted a few pictures with stories. He played the bagpipes on the Ed Sullivan show.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
My brother plays the bagpipes.
Well,
He does.
he was famous for his bagpipes, and he was on the Ed Sullivan show.
Wow, that's pretty
Yeah,
cool. I have to tell my brother that. He's real excited. We're trying to find him an instructor here in now that he's moved to Michigan. And we also lost Stanley Flowers. I
yeah,
mean,
Stan,
gosh, I
total
just have
icon.
such,
Just
yeah. You can't think of boxers without thinking of Stan.
and his hands. It was not just boxers. I remember watching a show of Weimaraner's and Harriers, and his hands were unbelievable.
Yeah.
He was an amazing artist when it came to showing dogs. Even in his later years, he was a little bit slower, but the end picture was always there.
Yeah.
And then we lost Robert Milano right before Montgomery this year too, and he was a incredible talent. Robert was an incredible talent. Um, but then the poodle world lost Barbara Humphreys.
It's a big one.
Yeah, she
Well,
was.
they're all big ones.
Oh, it was unbelievable. Like the who we lost this week. It's just the
Yeah.
sport was a big dent in the sport this week.
There's um, a guy named Willie Geist who does a bit for the Today Show on NBC called The Life Well Lived. And when someone passes on, that's what they call it. And they talk about their life story. Um, and I'd like to think of those people, Stanley and Barbara, everyone, as people who had a life well lived in the sport
Yeah.
and have left their legacy and have left their hallmark and have left their thumbprint on their breeds, on their presentation, on their friendships, and of their region. So, a life well lived by a bunch of them. And I'm sure we missed a few this week, Will, but that's four that
Oh,
we can think of.
you just hate hearing them. They just seem like this week was one after another,
Yeah.
and when they announced Davies passing, I think his daughter did the first announcement, and it was crushing. I sent Dougie a message right away, and he's an icon in our world up here. Davey was, and
Yeah.
he was just such a character. He just said things the way they were, and Yeah.
We just
Scottish
have to.
boy. Scottish boy.
Well, and why wouldn't he have terriers, right? I
Yeah.
mean, that's a law, right? But when you think back on these lives as we get a little less young, uh, it becomes more, I think, more about how important it is, what you do, what you say, what you are in the sport, and in life, obviously, and how important it might be because none of us get out of here alive,
No.
and you might as well live it like it's your last day and enjoy what you can and appreciate your friendships. Uh, they mean so much. And stop quarreling about this stupid dog show stuff. You're in it because you have a common thing. You love dogs. You love the sport. Look at it that way. Stop worrying about the thirds and fourths and the records. And speaking of records,
Oh, yeah, we
uh,
were gonna talk about records this week. Like, I look at the dog show stats now, Wayne, and when I was actively showing dogs, we didn't have reserve best in show at all, really, not till near the end, and, I started thinking some of the dogs I showed earlier on, what if there'd been reserved? There were so many dogs that were on my butt all year long. Who would have ended up number 1 if they had reserve back then? And what kind of records are they having? We talked about that with the colonel having the, Rock Falls Colonel English Setter. Was he the first 100 best in show dog? Was he the first
I
one?
think he was.
I think he was
I
too.
mean, I'm
It
pretty
was
sure
him or
that
Bang Away, I think. I don't remember. Um,
it was. They were. I think Bangway was after, wasn't
maybe, yeah.
it?
But,
I don't
like,
know.
they look at this 100 but now, you know, people will scoff at it, but there's a lot of 100 best in show dogs now.
Oh,
But
please, yeah. In
think
one
about the
year,
yeah, think about the time. How many shows did Colonel go to for him to win 100 best in shows? He probably
probably
maybe only
100.
went to 110, you
I know
know?
it's true. Yeah, and it didn't take him 1 year. It took him a few.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now, what does it mean when you win? Oh, he's won 50 best in shows.
I
Again,
showed
I
those
want to see the average number of dogs beat.
and
Uh,
could those dogs that beat those records, could they go back in time and compete against
mm.
the Colonel? Could they compete? Can you look at pictures of Colonel now and change his trim a little bit, he's still competitive. He's still right there, you
I
know?
wouldn't have to train him as train for me. He could.
You don't judge every day.
Yeah, I know. But boy, he's one that would definitely hold up today,
Oh, there's no question.
without a
All
doubt.
those old Skidby dogs too, you look at them and think,
Oh,
"Can you
Skibby's Bosun
imagine?"
and Stone Gables.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they'd
So many of
still
those
be
English
there,
setters.
right there.
Yeah.
They'd be
Did I ever tell
hard to
you that
compete with.
I showed Skidby's Bosun of Stone Gables once? Now I know that
Did you?
sounds silly because I was 8 years old,
Well,
and it
I was
wasn't
Agnes
necessarily.
Polly's last handler.
Well, this was not like that at all, Will. My dad did a handling class with Bill Barton. Ron Rella was in the class. Boy, there's Jennifer Sheldon. There's some great dog folks in that class. But anyway, Sally Barton. Uh, my dad and Bill taught this handling class, and it was in New Jersey. And Commander Hall didn't live too far from the building where we had the handling class. And every year we'd have a year-end comp, or once in a while, I don't think it was every year, be a competition. We'd judge you know, make it like a dog show. And Commander Hall, who was just such a great gentleman, an amazing, amazing man, an English setter, breeder, and judge, and just brilliant guy. Uh, the last of the great gentlemen's one of them. He said to me, "I can have Marcia run home." Marcia All Brown and Bethany, uh, they were his daughters who stayed in English centers. I can have them run home and get Bosun for you. Now, Bosun was probably 12 years old at this point,
Yeah.
long past his show career. And he brought back Skidby's Bosun of Stone Gables. And I got to show that dog in the handling class finals as an 8-year-old. He was quite old. But for me, that was like getting Mickey Mantle's autograph if I was in
Oh, for
Little League.
sure.
I mean,
Well,
geez,
Skidby was the first Canadian kennel to ever get a best in show in the States.
is that right?
English setter, yeah, English setter.
Wow.
Skidby Sturdy
That's
Tyke was
Yeah, I
the
remember
first.
Sturdy Tyke, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
And
that was
descendant of Sturdy Max.
yeah.
That's where the
Uh,
Sturdy came from.
Gus Polly was Skidby. I have the original sign somewhere, kennel sign
Oh,
with
cool.
Skidby.
Well, and
Uh,
Sturdy Max was bred by Dog Food Company, I believe. Sturdy
oh,
Dog Food.
really?
Yeah.
Wow.
That wasn't unusual back then, they would, do that kinda stuff.
But you look at the back, like, we would sit at Gus's kitchen table and look at all these old dog pictures, and these dogs, they're unbelievable. The type and how she kept
Silvermine
them.
Vagabond will. Could Silvermine Vagabond not win today?
Oh,
Sturdy Max could win today.
oh, for sure he could, for
So
sure.
many of those. So many of those dogs in the
Yeah.
past that
We're
could
getting
win
we're
right
getting a
now.
little waylaid, but yeah, that was
Well, it's setter guys, we can't help ourselves. I
But it's
apologize.
true. The topic, like, could these dogs compete with the dogs that they just broke the records? I don't know. I don't know if
Yeah.
they could or
It's
not.
tough to do that, who's
Yeah,
the best football player? The rules are different, the weather's different, the training's
everything's
different,
different now, yeah.
everything's different, but
But
the
should
big
there
thing
be
that's
an
different.
asterisk now? Because then you'll get someone say, "Well, this is the greatest point-winning dog." Well, that dog didn't the other dog they beat didn't have a chance to win those reserve best in show points. I don't know.
Mm,
I don't know if should there be an asterisk like in baseball in the steroid era, you know?
yeah.
It's a hard question, and I remember one time I showed a dog up here in Canada, and he was the biggest winning dog of his breed. I think he still holds the record for post points in a year, but he had most best in shows in his breed. Well, the dog that was right behind him contacted the breeder of the dog I showed and said, Could they put an ad in saying passing the torch?" And the breeder called me and said, "What do you think?" I said, "Of course they can, but I want them to put that our dog was showing for 18 months, not 5 years."
It's a
The
really
ad never went in.
I mean, that's a valid point,
Yeah.
a percentage basis. And the number of dogs, you're not winning 3,000 dogs with
Uh,
shows with 3,000 dogs like you did to get those best in shows anymore.
yeah, and,
And,
and I don't have a
and you
biggest
don't,
argument about those because they go to the dog shows they go to. So like if you're from Kansas, you go to dog shows in Kansas and those are the sizes. But those dogs even back then that competed in Kansas, they would come to the big shows, the five-star shows, and compete there and be winners there.
right. That's fine. But when you won 100 best in shows and it was all against 200 dogs, uh, that's not the same as winning against 300 dogs every weekend, 3,000 dogs every
Yeah,
weekend. And the big thing for me is that, yes, it doesn't mean they're terrible dogs if they won a 300 dog show. Uh, it's always a tough way to put those words in order. A dog show with 300 dogs, not a 300 dog show. Not,
yeah,
yeah, you know what I mean.
yeah,
Anyway, the point is that eh, you, if you're at a low entry show, you didn't really have a hard time getting out of the breed.
right.
You weren't in there against 5 of the best specials in the country at the time. That weighs a little bit for me too.
Yeah, breed level is hard. Like, I think once you get to best in show level, even at a 300 or a 300 dog show,
Yeah,
you end up with 7 pretty good dogs. So when you win
you
that,
do.
it becomes it's still a win. But you're right, it's an easier route to get to. You know?
Yeah, for sure. And, when you're in there and, uh, if you go back to the era where we talked about the Colonel, there weren't thousands and thousands of dog shows. You didn't have the opportunities, and in my mind, that's the biggest asterisk. The star thing, Will, the biggest
Yeah,
one of those is because of the number of shows you have. You have hundreds of more times of opportunities than you did.
yep,
And
exactly.
that's the big asterisk.
Like, well, what would have
One,
happened if Colonel was able to go to 300 dog shows? What would have
yeah,
happened? Would he won 300 best in shows? Maybe. Who knows?
maybe
You know?
it's possible.
Yeah.
Uh, you just don't know. Actually, and the other thing is, going back to that question when the judge asked me if she should apply for Best in Show, I had to say, at the end of the day, a lot of that's going to be weighted upon handling, presentation, ownership, backers, whatever the hell it is. That whole package starts to weigh on that ending. Where a good class dog discovered at Montgomery by a good terrier person, that's a big win. I don't know.
But
It's
the
a
same
different
thing happens
sport.
that when that great class dog is discovered by somebody, you know it's gonna be chased down by the ones that wanna show it for a year and a half now,
Right.
right?
Yeah. Or 5 years.
Yeah.
Or 5 so they can make sure they win that record, you know. Top winning Schlitzen fungal of all time, went to 3,000,000 shows and won 20 Best in Shows. Yeah, highest entry was 192. He's the greatest one of all time.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, maybe not. I don't know. I guess I'm just getting callous with the whole record thing and standings thing. It just
Yeah,
doesn't
well, the
how far
standings
can you
things
go?
we can generalize because the standings are standings, but the records, I'm not sure those can hold up, you know?
Yeah. Well, you can't have the records without the standings.
Right. I know I understand that, but, like I look over my shoulder here and I've got the Bryn Mawr Group Trophy of, Kashniga's Desert Song, the Borzoi dog
Borzoi.
that
Mhm.
Dick Mean showed, Richard Mean, who had a brother, a Galbraith, who was some say he was better.
Better. Yeah.
And you think, well, what if he was around today? Like you look at his pictures, you go, oh my God, what if he was around today? Would any of us get a chance to win anything? I don't know. you
I
know,
don't know either. And how that breed in certain parts of the country looks different
yeah,
than he did now. Um, not always for the better. Certain breeds just change over time with style and trends, and there's not
yeah.
much reeling that back in.
And it's area too. Like you're right. It depends on the area. What breeder takes a hold of that area and does what they want. So,
I was thinking, and I may do this, I'm almost thinking that our normal pattern as a judge between you got your down and back, you got your go around, you got your, I think walking them down and back, any breed, I would really like to see many breeds that are straight in front and over-legged behind, over-angulated behind, which is most of them. I would like to see those dogs walk down and back.
well, you can ask them.
Yeah,
You're the judge.
I,
You can do whatever you want.
I think more should. I
Yeah.
think more should.
Yeah.
It would it would make it real clear how unsound that looks.
Yeah. I once had an exhibitor say to me, "Well, I noticed you put your glasses on most, and I mean, by the end of the day, your glasses weren't on for the down and back." I had seen enough.
I hear you, Will. I hear you. But yeah, we go through these what's cool things. Oh, by the way, right now it's cool to put up. No, I'm not going to go there. I'll get in trouble. I'm doing the national. Okay, take a step back. It's cool to put up certain breeds, certain dogs, certain things, and it gets to be cool to put up, you know, a dog that nails like right now. You got to nail the free stack, and you know how I feel about that. I hate
Mm.
it. Uh, but we go through
And the
these
best
trends.
training show dog goes too.
Yeah, the best free stack definitely goes to that one over there. I'm not sure what breed he is, but boy, did he nail it. I read
I'm
it
not gonna
right
him
in the
stand
standard.
there.
Must nail the free stack. Jesus. Oh, what's become of us, Will? What's
Yeah.
become of us? Anyway, what else you got, bud?
Oh, well, we just have to get ready now for Newfoundland. I don't know what else is coming up. What else is coming up for you after Newfoundland? I think I'm at a couple of shows. I think where I'm competing with my Irish Setter and my Beagle. I think so.
Excellent. I get back from Newfoundland,
Newfoundland.
and sometimes you say Newfoundland, you know? Do you
Okay.
always say it the same way?
I don't know. I don't know. Well, wait till we get there. We'll ask somebody. Newfoundland.
Actually, I went
Newfoundland.
online and I said, "How do you pronounce it?" And there's 3 videos. None of them are the same. None of them are the same. So, anyway, when we get back from there, I have 3 days to change, and then I get to pay $3,000 with the hope of getting 3 CEUs. I'm flying to a specialty in Florida, and I'm flying to a national down there, and, I'm going because I really like this breed. There's gonna be really good people there, and I really do wanna learn more. I feel pretty comfortable with the breed, but I still really wanna learn more. But if you were just somebody going around, I'll bet there's gonna be plenty of people here that spend 3 grand to get down there for the week and to pick up 3 points.
Yeah.
It's not why I'm going. I'm going to get my 3 damn points,
Yeah.
but that's not why I'm going. I'm looking forward to it. But that's the way it goes, bud. So I get back for a couple days, get down there, come home and pass out because I just need some
Well, I
sleep.
know. I'm going to Springfield, Illinois when I get back. That's where I'm going.
You are? Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That's
And
not
Ira
too.
Setter Specialty is there, so we're going there. So
Are you rolling right through here?
I don't
Rolling
know.
through the zoo?
Probably. Yeah.
Well, if you're on low on whatever you're on low on, bud, just pull off 94. Here we are.
Twinkies and coffee.
Twinkies and coffee. Maybe that's why we're always.
Do they have Twinkies down there? Oh, yeah, they have Twinkies down there.
Of course they do. And red rose tea bags. It's not just for
Red
the queen.
rose tea bags. Yeah.
Do I have to bring my own to Newfoundland? Newfoundland?
Oh, it'll be
Red
there.
rose?
It'll be there. Yeah.
You
But
sure?
the one time I was with you in Michigan, I brought the wrong briefcase. That's why I didn't have them with me. I'll have them with me. So
But I came through, Will. I
I
had
know
one
you
with
did.
me. Yeah.
We were at the Cracker Barrel. We
were
ordered
at the
hot
Cracker
water,
Barrel.
like a couple of old men. There's a cup of hot water, please.
Well, the funny part was I ordered or one of us ordered a cup of hot water. And the other one ordered a tea. But I said I have my own tea bags. You didn't get charged for your cup of hot water. I got charged for my cup of water because I used the word tea and then I put my own tea bag in. So we have no respect. Tea drinkers have no respect in this country. None.
No.
None whatsoever. But I don't know. Stopped at Timmy Hortons yesterday, Will,
Did
for a
you?
cup of coffee right here in Portage, Michigan. Or as us fancy people like to say, Portage, Michigan.
Portage.
We even have a Target here. All right. We've said enough.
Yeah.
Time to pack and get the hell out of here. Peace be with you, brother. Love you. Take us out.
Right. Be safe out there. I will see you down the road, and I'll see you in Newfoundland.
Yes. Kiss the cod.
Oh, they don't do that anymore. It's kiss the puffin now.
Oh, okay.
Party on, Greg. No way. You gotta be paying attention, Doc.
Thanks for
So, Ernie, use this in the blooper reel.
That's right. We love you, Ernie. Yes, we do.
Don't put that in, Ernie.
Quit taking yourself so damn seriously.
I'm gonna rock
Some extraordinary data things that are being done around the world. Thanks, Ernie.
We didn't mention hockey either. Isn't that unbelievable? Put that in, Doc.
Yeah, they let us see it in a blooper. This is good. We're going to be here in a second, Wayner.
Don't lose it, Doc.
Hot.
Use that one, Doc.
Don't use that one, Doc.